greetings. During these times of confusion, violence, and chaos, never doubt that you are known, loved, and honored for choosing to assist Earth in her journey to once again express the divine perfection that is her reality. You did not need to incarnate as many do in order to learn and grow beyond the third-dimensional belief system, but you along with many others chose to incarnate in order that the presence of many evolved states of consciousness on Earth would add light to and lift Earth's collective consciousness to a higher level. Everything is energy, dear ones. Everything, people, words, actions, stuff has a vibrational frequency, and the closer it is to reality, truth, the lighter, faster, and brighter are the frequencies. The further from truth something is, the slower, denser, and heavier the vibration, which is why the three-dimensional Earth manifests as material and why you feel heaviness in certain situations, places, or even around certain people. In reality, your body is pure, perfect, and whole, a light body, an individualization of God. Just as you commonly think of a body of water, think of yourself as a body of God. In the density of third-dimensional energy, the real light body is interpreted as physical, dense, material, and subject to all sorts of problems. Your real body has always and will continue to go with you wherever you go. It cannot die, for it is your individualization of divine consciousness. It is only the material concept of body that dissolves after the light body leaves. Everything, that which is considered good and that considered bad, is a concept of a spiritual reality or divine idea, because divine consciousness is all that exists. The third-dimensional state of consciousness is unaware and thus unable to understand that Earth is a spiritual world peopled with sons, daughters of God, because their state of consciousness is as of yet only able to align with denser energy. There are some who lie from a three-dimensional level but who have retained the ability to interact with energies invisible to most. Most of them worked with psychic energy throughout their past lives and often work as psychics in this one. Always remember that psychic is not the same as spiritual, and information can rise no higher than the state of consciousness of the person giving the information. This is an important point to remember in these times of many predictions. Always trust your intuition, because there is only one divine consciousness expressing itself as infinite form and variety. Energy is always seeking to reconnect with itself. In the human scene, this manifests as like attracting like or bird of a feather, flock together. Be aware of what you hold as truth in your consciousness, because consciousness automatically draws and connects to whatever energy it is in alignment with. Example, a consciousness of violence, lack, and beliefs based in separation will automatically attract ideas about as well as actions of violence. Hypochondriacs will always be attracting some health issue. There is no such thing as a God who punishes or gets pleasure from the suffering of itself as individual being. In fact, these things do not even exist in divine consciousness. The third-dimensional state of consciousness dreams up concepts of God based in limited and false information and then sets about worshipping and preaching these concepts to others. Every person is the God creating their life and situations from the contents of their consciousness. However, this does not mean that every negative experience is a failure of spiritual growth, but rather often represents a graduation of sorts. Many negative experiences actually represent completion and are expressing a clearing of some old energy unknowingly being held in consciousness. The human desire to attain good and get rid of the bad is actually the material concept of a spiritual reality. Soul remembers who it really is and yearns to be complete, known, and acknowledged. The third-dimensional state of consciousness feels this yearning as a desire for human good, people, places, experiences, etc. believed capable of bringing happiness and success. However, the duality aspect of three-dimensional concepts automatically means that human good and human bad can and often does quickly shift to the opposite. Holding tightly to good experiences of the past or continually trying to recreate them for self and others in some way is no different than attempts to bury, forget, ignore, deny, or rid self of bad memories. As either one comes to mind, look right at them and see them for what they represent or represented in an earlier state of consciousness. No longer endow them power for good or bad, and thank them for the lessons, insights, and evolutionary growth you gained, and release them into the nothingness that they really are. Learn to see through all material appearances and into the deeper reality that underlies it. If you see someone stealing, do not judge the person as bad, but understand that because in reality that person is a divine being, he or she is unknowingly carrying a desire for wholeness and completeness, which to their limited state of consciousness they are interpreting as a right to whatever they need or want. This does not mean those living from an unevolved state of consciousness should simply be allowed to do whatever they please. Spiritual evolution involves lessons at all levels of awareness, which for some may mean that their needed lesson is jail time. Practice oneness at all times, a wordless flash of awareness as you enter a room, get to your office, do the dishes, etc. Every time you answer your phone, remember that God is the person at the other end, or when driving, know that God is every other driver on the road. By keeping a tiny portion of your awareness always centered in truth, it soon becomes your state of consciousness, your life, and your reality. We are the Arcturian group.